Motivational speaker and Me to We ambassador Spencer West brought his unique perspective on life to the students at E.L. Crossley High School in Fonthill.
Well, I think what we have to look at is that we are all different, but that's what makes us so amazing, is that if we were all the same, it would be so boring, right? But what we need to realize is that we are a global community and that we all live here together and that we affect the world both negatively and positively. And we all have the ability to choose how we affect the world. And it's about recognizing that choice and then doing something about it and realizing that it's not just about us here in our own little bubble, but that what we do affects the world, again, in a positive or a negative way.
You have been traveling for an extensive period of time, actually going across Canada and saying thank you to the students who are actually helping to make this world a better place. Why is it important for you to thank them for the work that they're doing?
Yeah, I think for me, the reason that it's important to thank these students is because they're the unsung heroes. They're the people that aren't getting the recognition they deserve. You know, we're in a really interesting time in our world, and I feel like there's a lot of negativity that's happening in the media, and many of it for, well, I wouldn't say good reason, but for a reason. And I think it's important for folks like this to know that they're being recognized and that they're not just doing it and people aren't paying attention. We see them, and it's really important that they know that what they're doing matters, and that it's not just about myself or the organization or, you know, Craig Kilberger, the founder, getting the recognition. It's them too.
Spencer's main message is to redefine possible, a mantra he's lived by since losing his legs at age 5.
As someone that has a disability, you know, I see the world a little bit differently, and I think if I would have had my legs, I probably would have found similar work that I'm doing now, but not in the way that or the platform that I have losing my legs. For me, I think it also provided me a different perspective with compassion and empathy as well. Not that I have a better level than anyone else, but I just think it provided that different perspective.
So the one thing about Me to We is that we help to inspire children to be the social change, the change that we want to see in the world. How do you actually help to create the perpetuation that it goes through adulthood and for them to do it with their own families?
Yeah, I mean, so that's what we've noticed. You know, we've done a lot of research outside. We've had a third party come in called Mission Measurement and talked to a lot of our alum who have gone through our programming, and, you know, and what we found is that a big chunk of them were voting in the last election, and a big chunk of them were continuing this on in their universities, and a big chunk of them were continuing this on to their workplace as well. So that's sort of the idea, is that then they take it and then they bring it out into the world and continue to foster that. It's sort of that sort of ripple effect. But what I think is also important to note about that is that we as adults are not off the hook either. Because a lot of times people say, you know, how do we raise compassionate kids? And I'm not a dad yet, but working with youth for the last 10 years, we have to lead by example.
The recent launch of his YouTube channel allows Spencer to engage his audience in a new way.
I've spent the last 10 years telling my story, and I feel really grateful, and I'll continue to do so, but I've told it enough. And I think it's time to start to hear other people's stories as well, and for other people to start to get some exposure. So that's the reason that I wanted to do this channel, that you know, eventually maybe it'll turn into something a little bit bigger, and that we can have the space to create a place where people can tell their stories as well. Yeah, so that's the idea. We'll see where it goes.
Reporting for The Source, I'm Lori Taraba.